Very happy to have Conservative MP, Vice Chair of the Justice Committee itself, Michael Cooper, joining us from our studios in Ottawa. Michael, thank you for taking some time today. I know it's busy.
Yeah, good afternoon.
So walk us through what you heard today, no doubt from Mr. Wernig, the Justice Minister, David Lametti, but also the comments that were made just after the committee as well, when the cameras were on and Michael Wernig sort of started to talk about different conversations he had with Jody Wilson-Raybould.
Sure. Well, first of all, I'm worried as well. I'm worried that the Prime Minister inappropriately and quite possibly illegally interfered in the prosecution of SNC-Lavalin. And what we heard today from Mr. Wernig is deeply troubling. We know from Mr. Wernig that he attended the September 17th meeting between the Prime Minister and the former Attorney General. At that meeting, it was revealed that the former Attorney General expressly stated that she would not overturn the decision of the Director of Public Prosecutions not to enter into a deferred prosecution agreement. Following that, there was a concerted campaign by the Prime Minister, by officials in the PMO, and by the Clerk of the Privy Council himself to change the Minister's mind. We know, of course, of the December 5th meeting between former Attorney General Jody Wilson-Raybould and Gerald Butts. And what was new today was that Mr. Wernig met with the Prime Minister and other top PMO officials on December 19th and then picked up the phone to indicate concerns about her decision not to intervene. If that isn't pressure, if that isn't inappropriate and potentially illegal interference, I don't know what is.
Well, you raise a really interesting point that many of us are wondering now, which is, he said very clearly that there was no inappropriate pressure. And so it now becomes a bit of a he said, she said, potentially, Michael. What is construed as inappropriate pressure versus a conversation about the importance of a major Canadian company?
He was talking about jobs. He was talking about economic considerations, which, by the way, are precluded from being taken into consideration in terms of a deferred prosecution agreement. That's expressly stated in the criminal code. And, of course, we have Jody Wilson-Raybould's apparent comments to Cabinet yesterday. But she felt she was inappropriately pressured to overturn the decision. So I think if anything came out of today, it is that the Prime Minister is further implicated in this affair.
Now, what's going to happen in terms of the timeline? You're the Vice Chair of the Justice Committee. We continue to hope we're going to hear from Jody Wilson-Raybould. My understanding is she is now set to appear next week. Is that correct?
She is set to appear on Tuesday. We don't know exactly what time, of course, because the Prime Minister refuses to waive solicitor-client privilege. We don't know how much she's going to say. And, of course, she seems to have expressed that concern because yesterday she rose on a point of order and said that she would like to speak to these matters, but she can't, and it's not her decision to make that decision with respect to solicitor-client privilege. So we'll certainly await her comments. And it's also, I think, important that we hear from Gerry Butts, who, of course, was involved in this matter, it seems, all through extensively.
Something else I want to clarify, because as you can appreciate in your role, there are lots of different things flying around at all times here as we try to make sense of this. Is the appearance by Jody Wilson-Raybould going to be public? In other words, before the cameras, will we be able to see what you ask her and how she responds?
It will be public.
All right. So that being said, you also want to hear from Gerry Butts, and we'll see if that's going to happen, if he actually agrees to appear. What do you think the timeline is going to be now moving forward? We have this appearance, as you're saying, next week, and then what?
And then we don't know. Then it's in the hands of the Liberal-dominated Justice Committee. And thus far, they have seemed to be very disinterested in getting to the bottom of exactly what happened. I mean, in the meeting, when David Lametti, the Attorney General, appeared, rather than asking him substantive questions, it seemed like a first date. It was really pathetic. So I don't have a lot of confidence, but we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. But I think, again, today's meeting, the testimony in particular of Mr. Wernig is important, and it raises very serious questions.
Let me ask you if you think that the fact Jody Wilson-Raybould attended part of that cabinet meeting earlier this week and has agreed to appear publicly before the committee that is controlled by the Liberals, is there anything to be taken away from that in terms of what she might say or Michael might not say?
Well, I think the question now becomes, now that she apparently indicated that she was unduly pressured, there may in fact be obstruction of justice that we're dealing with. We may be talking about a contravention of Section 139 of the Criminal Code, and that begs the question, has this matter now been referred to the RCMP?
Conservative MP Michael Cooper, who is the Vice Chair of the Justice Committee, giving us a few moments of his time on a very busy day. Thank you for this, Michael. Always great to have you with us on CTV.
Right. Thank you.